All right, guys, day one at PGA Show, and the very first booth that we're visiting is the Graphite Design booth. We're here with Bill McPherson. As you guys remember, we did a Zoom call together, and we talked about all the new shafts that were out at the time, right? And the fact that they're high quality, different technology, graphites, carbon fibers, and the different applications that they use. Now we have a new product. And what would that, we'll let Bill explain this one.
Since we last did our video last year, we've come out with a brand new shaft. It's called Tour AD UB. So the UB model in blue is a little bit different in the sense that it does use our modern technologies, the M40X and T1100G. Most players always want to know, how does it compare to the Tour AD DI? Well, in comparison, it's quite simply a slightly stiffer version, +2 in the butt section, +2 in the midsection, and +4 in the tip, as opposed to the DI, which is a 2, 2, and 4. But it's the T1100G and M40X material technology that adds stability to the shaft. Now, we talked about M40X in our last call. M40X is a high modulus and high tensile strength material, which is quite unique.
Right.
Normally, materials are either high in modulus or high in tensile strength. Well, M40X is revolutionary in the sense it's high in both. What that gives our engineers the ability to do is take 1 ply of M40X and use it where maybe 2 or 3 plies of a standard modulus material will be used. So now we can build a shaft that's stronger, but also lighter. Right, so we're bringing the weights down a little bit because of that. And it also maintains that unique feel that I think Graphite Design has when you compare it to some of our competitors. The Graphite Design shaft always seems to have a really good feel, even if it's something like the XC, for instance, which is quite stiff in the mid to tip section, designed to promote more of a low-mid launch and low spin type ball flight, which I know you tested out recently.
So Bill and I were talking about this, that Alvin convinced me to get one of these, and that's the XC model. And we put it together, or 2 days ago, I put it on the Rogue ST, and it's like lightning in a jar, right? I just absolutely, against the ocean, throwing it out there, all right? You guys know that in all the other videos, everybody wants to hit 300. Well, if I'm on the ocean and I'm hitting 295, close enough. And the dispersion was tight. And that's, so far, tight, high, low, I don't know. What else do you need?
Sounds like a really good combination, Jim.
Yeah, so to keep going, the DI.
So DI is our most popular shaft model.
We'll just go from here to here.
UB.
So what's the UB stand for? I know all the letters.
Beyond, right,
up and beyond.
Yep,
okay.
Ultimate bombs, up and beyond. Nonetheless, the DI being really our most popular shaft model. We had 15 wins on the tour last year with the DI. It's going to be, in the UB sense, it's going to be a little firmer feeling than the DI. So if you're playing a DI shaft and you feel it's kind of reached its point where it maybe is starting to get a little softer, too soft feeling, maybe you've increased your swing speed, and you want something that feels similar to DI but has a little more stability, the UB shaft is going to be the next one to try.
So will these come in different weight categories?
Right. We offer the UBs in the 45 gram, 55 gram, 65, 75, and 85 gram weights, and flexes from light all the way to 2 or extra stiff.
So that Bill just opened up a whole new possibilities with the UB8, because you senior guys, which I'm getting really close to being, you senior guys that have got the really short backswings, but just don't quite have that swing speed, but you're super aggressive trying to make that speed, this is a shaft that would react to you extraordinarily well. You're going to have that lightweight, so you're going to be able to generate the club head speed, but because of that amount of pull and that torque you're throwing on it, this club will stay with you. So if you're looking at something that you're spraying, right, this
might straighten it out.
That this is one of those things that could truly help you out. Again, at the other end of the spectrum, if you're a gorilla on legs and you're just a guy that just wants to swing it and hit it as far as you want, then the upper end,
the TX Flex would be
right. You're into
anything over 110 miles per hour. We recommend TX Flex. And what's nice about the UB shaft is, if you want to maintain more of a mid-type ball flight, mid-launch angles, but you need something that's fairly stout that stays with you, that's where the TX Flex works really well.
So we have, so Graphite Design has basically covered just this huge huge chasm of different styles of golfers, right? The different types of golfers. So that's what we're going to do next is we'll put those guys back. All right, so let's start with the DI.
So the DI is kind of the shaft that I think everybody's at least had a chance to try or maybe had in the bag for quite a while. They kind of always compare our other products to how does it compare to DI. So for instance, Tour AD DI and some of our other models, for instance IZ, XC, and HD, you can see varying difference from butt sections where the XC is softer. But as you go move across, you'll see XC has a stiff center section and stiff tip, where the DI is more of a medium center section. In this case, DI is stiff in the tip, and this is firm plus in the tip. These two profiles are going to promote a higher launch because of the softer midsection, where the XC is going to promote more of a low launch because of the stiff center section. HD, that's more of a one-piece feeling shaft. This is a really good shaft for an aggressive tempo. It stays with you, doesn't go left or right. And then, of course, our new Tour AD UB that we've already talked about. In addition to those, we've got a couple other shafts that I always like to talk about, that being these three. So this shaft here, this is the M9003. This shaft is our lowest launching, lowest spinning shaft. This is really the gorilla shaft you were mentioning.
Right.
This is really that shaft. Kind of something along the lines of the Hulk, for instance, green.
Oh, right, right.
Say white even. Yeah, this is quite a stout shaft. We offer this in 65 and 75 grams, stiff and extra stiff flex. Then our MAD product is also becoming more and more popular in the sense that it's a lower price pointed shaft that complements the Tour AD line. So if you're not wanting to spend that $300+ on a Tour AD shaft, you can go with the MAD. We offer a MAD Pro, indicated here, and a MAD Standard. So the MAD Standard is I would call it, as you move from the weights 45 all the way up to 75 gram, it's a kind of something along the lines of our older G Series and YS offering.
Oh, the YS was a super popular shaft.
Yeah, so this is something very comparable to that YS profile. And then the MAD Pro is the next step up, lower in torque, stiffer flexes, a little heavier weights for that higher swing speed as well.
I like that you got the little medical symbols on there.
MAD standing for maximum accuracy and distance, right? The story behind the shaft is take your club to the doctor, to get it fixed and come out with hopefully a prescription that corrects your ball flight. Thus, that.
Well, there you go. Right. So you did mention it, and you opened the door for me. So how does a shaft control spin? What is the big deal for controlling spin?
Well,
because we hear launch, we get that part because of profiles. Where does the spin part come into?
Spin. The one thing about spin is angle of attack. As steeper angle of attacks are going to impart spin, where hitting up on the ball is going to, maybe take off spin or not add as much spin. So. Usually players that are hitting down on the ball need something that's going to bring that face back to square quicker. Usually these type of center sections help with that, the softer center sections, but it's the stiff tip profiles. That's what helps keep the spin down.
And that's what because when you talk about the steeper angle of attacks and all that kind of stuff, that's me in a nutshell. And this, couple, we're talking 295. I also hit a few about this high off the ground as well, which is phenomenal for me, and it did what it is. You always get really, got those questions. Well, what makes what do what? Mm-hmm. And you'll see a lot of fitters get confused. They just know what they've been told it does this, but they don't know why.
Right.
And that's what we look for is the why.
Right. Yes.
And that's pretty good.
Well, and the other two shafts I want to talk about real quick as well. If you need a shaft that adds spin, Jim, this is our Tour AD MJ. MJ has the softest tip profile that we offer within the lineup.
Okay.
So this is a great shaft for swing speeds that maybe are resulting in too low a spin, and the ball's just kind of not hanging in the air. We need to keep it in the air a little longer. This is a good model. And then the other shaft I want to talk about is our F Series. So our F Series is a fairway-specific model. So this shaft is a 44-inch blank, and it's designed also with a softer tip to help get the ball up in the air. But it's a little lower in price as well. But this shaft works really good and complements all of the other wood shafts from a fairway standpoint. Right.
I've been waiting. There's only just one or even two companies out there that actually make a standard fairway wood shaft.
Right.
And because that whole go up 10 grams and cut it down a little bit. That doesn't work a lot.
Sometimes you take too much off the tip and it doesn't result in a very good performing shaft. But
if
that's
you
what
have
this
that
is
one,
designed
well,
to
that's
do.
new.
Is our
for
Fairway
me.
F Series.
We got a new shaft coming, boys and girls. So what? So the lightest shaft. What? Let's just for some other thing. What's the lightest shaft that's in the lineup?
So all of our Tour AD modern shafts offer a 40-gram option.
Nice.
So basically, it's going to be anywhere from 45 to 42 grams at 46-inch length. Within that, we offer light or R2 flex, regular, which is called R1 flex, and then stiff. We do make a 45-gram stiff shaft that actually performs really well.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so that would be our lightest weight offerings from a standpoint of the Tour AD shafts.
Okay, and then the heaviest.
Heaviest, of course, within the line, we also offer everything in 85 grams. So 85 grams stiff and extra stiff. In some lines, for instance, the DI, we also offer the 8TX and the 9X.
Ooh.
So we have a shaft as heavy as 95 grams offered in the Tour AD DI.
Now, does your fairway wood shaft change in those?
It also is available in 50, 60, 70, and 80 grams.
Good gravy.
Standard flexes. So yeah, we have a lot of SKUs to cover all of the spectrum of golfers.
That was me just looking at Mrs. McGolf going, why isn't this in the shop? So, all righty. So guys, is it graphitedesign.com?
Pros
Here
Choice
it says
golfshafts.com. That's our website.
Pros Choice Graphite Shaft.
Nope. Pros Choice golfshafts.com.
There we go. If you wanted to see more about this and research a little bit more about graphite design, that's where you got to go, or find a dealer that will be able to help you out with that particular.
We have a dealer locator on our website. You can enter your zip code and find a dealer near you. Absolutely. Or look up Jim.
Yeah, we certainly will. Bill, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so very much.
Good to see you.
All right, guys. Guys, Graphite Design. Definitely a top-end shaft, top-end performance. Something worth checking out. Do it. And again, let's see your scores. Go low.